idea that we could just throw things away and we don't have to think about it again, that doesn't work.
Glean is a fabulous art program, and it's a program that promotes resource reduction and sustainability by providing artists with space to scavenge for materials and the time and the resources to create a body of work.
Crackpot's mission is to take things out of the waste stream and then use them in new ways.
And so the more we can keep things, reuse them, make art out of them, recycle them into other big things, that's just so critical.
What excites me about this year's show is the diversity, and I was most surprised by the fabric artist.
I work with recycled textiles and fibers to make sculpture. Here's a piece of towel that I sewed together. So when I was selected to be a Glean artist, I was thrilled to have this opportunity to look through people's garbage, the trash of Portland, and find the stories. So for instance, when I find a blanket, I'm looking at what is that blanket? So this particular piece has some blanket in it. So I'm interested in why this blanket was discarded. I'm just interested in those kind of stories that come with the materials, and then combining them with other materials to make new and interesting stories. And there's something so emotional about watching these huge sculptures of trash. I mean, it looks like a giant sculpture because everything's just thrown together and just into this big pile, and watching it shift and change is so sad.
When looking at it, it really underscores for me what is actually happening to the planet at the moment in terms of environmental degradation and climate change. Perhaps we're moving in the direction of making this planet completely inhospitable, and yet clustering civilization into this little dome, and that might be our best opportunity for survival.
My vision for the series I'm creating for Glean is kind of based on the idea of dystopias or wastelands. I'm thinking of these landscapes or landscape-like things as the future, the possible future. I'm hoping that this bleak representation of where we could go would inspire us as a collective to take charge. When I'm at the transfer station, I often don't know what I'm looking for. The other artists were asking me what they could grab from me when they were there, and I wasn't, and I always kind of sheepishly said, I don't know. Things speak to me, yes. That's part of my intuitive process. Also really kind of cool to see how well everything is separated and reused as much as possible.
Here at the Metro Central Transfer Station is where all the trash that's collected around the city comes into the site. Recology works hard to recover as much material as possible for the best and highest use.
Foundation of my work is about markmaking, kind of being inspired by the natural occurrences of these marks. I think a lot of it for me was kind of this experimentation. And this is a kind of a iron oxide nursery I got going on, and that's part of the work I do, is dealing with chance and kind of setting up parameters to get the desired effect. Even going into the hazardous waste department, it's like walking into a hardware store.
So this is the Metro Central Hazardous Waste Disposal Facility. We take hazardous waste from about 60,000 people every year. We have developed a reuse program to share those products that still have life left in them to help out people who could use them.
I think the Glean program it definitely brings a sense of awareness to the public. I mean, I had no idea. Like seeing images of, dumps and trash, and then actually experiencing is two completely different things. And I hope to bring that same experience to the viewer, is that mode of, what is that, what am I looking at, and I don't know, but I want to keep looking at it.
So this year, Glean, these are actually my favorite pieces as a collection, just because because they're so intricate, the little colored pencils, all the detail you can see, and just the way they make you see things. Some of them I see animals, some of them I see musical instruments.
I like to use found objects in a way that challenges the viewer to really look hard and find what might remind them of what the object really was. My studio practice involves sculptural work that somehow talks about the battle between humans and nature. I was looking for a story at the dump that reflected those values that I have, and I got really interested in the falconers that are hired by Metro to control the birds that eat from the trash. So tell me about how you use the lure.
The lure is primarily used as a retrieval and recovery device.
And then you spin it around. Why is that?
Right, to get their attention, especially if they're a long ways away or high in the sky, they can see it better.
So my series of mobiles for this residency are all called lures. I like the term lure because it has multiple meanings as well. It lures you in. It hopefully seeing an art exhibit made of recycled materials and things especially gleaned from the dump will lure people into thinking about reusing materials first.
I mean, I grew up with a grandmother who taught me to recycle from the very beginning. And she gave me rickrack and egg cartons and stuff to make weird stuff out of. So I've been doing this all my life. You never know what you're going to find. I mean, prior to doing this, I had concepts about what I wanted to do, and I would start working with different things. But here, I have to let the garbage speak to me rather than me speak to the garbage. And the first thing I do when I bring it home is I totally dismantle it and sort it out into its elements so that I can use it in a way that it never was meant to be used. The weirdest thing I found was this pig, this lovely taxidermy pig. And this woman was about to throw it out, and I nearly, I gasped and said, "Can I please have that?" And she's like, "You want this?" One of the things that I really love about this process is working with the other artists. The five of us together. When we first met, it's like we clicked as a group. It's been really exciting and really refreshing to see how different people approach art making, and even though we're sort of given the same palette, I'm really looking forward to watching people as they realize what they're looking at was once garbage.
It's been very exciting having this all come to fruition. For instance, this piece is I titled it Tenderness, and when I was looking at the materials, I found that they're very intimate materials. I work with towels and sweaters, and so I found that they were really charged with emotions, like this idea of the towel caressing the body and wiping up sweat.
I really like that pig, so I had to keep it. So sorry guys, it's mine.
Being here tonight is great. It's lovely to see some of my oldest friends, 30 years, and art patrons, and Recology and Metro crowd. It's awesome.
I think the audience is intrigued with the work because they're questioning what they're looking at.
People are responding really well. They seem really excited by the work and really engaged by it.
People are recognizing it as a viable art form and buying more of it. I mean, there are a number of pieces that have already sold tonight.
And so the artist program is a great way for us to continue to promote our idea of resource recovery.
We have to be responsible about what we throw away. And Glean helps us understand how that is a creative act.